Today's gospel for the Friday of the third week of Lent is taken from Mark chapter 12. One of the scribes came to Jesus and asked him, "Which is the first of all the commandments?" Jesus replied, "The first is this: Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." The scribe said to him, "Well said, teacher." For the Jewish people, they took that commandment to love God alone, put it on a little piece of paper, rolled it into this wooden thing, and they would tie it to their head as a reminder that this was the central purpose of life: to love God with all of our heart, all of our soul, all of our mind, and all of our strength. That is the reason we exist. That God has created us to be in relationship with Him and to discover in that relationship the very meaning of our existence, but also the surprising joy of our eternal salvation. I think in this moment of crisis and challenge, we're asked to love in little ways. Maybe we can't go out and do big and dramatic things, but how do we attend to the people that are in our home with us? It's difficult for parents to have children home from school. Many people are working from home and are not going into work. So just the challenge and the tension of being together more can be a difficulty. But if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, it's also a moment to really exercise this heroic charity, to love each other on a level that perhaps we have never been called to before, to love God in little things. And that's what both St. Therese and Mother Teresa would teach us, that St. Therese gets into the convent, cloistered convent at the age of 15, and struggles with the fact that she wanted to do something bold and dramatic for God. She dreams of being a missionary or a martyr. She is inspired by Joan of Arc. And she realizes that God wasn't calling her to do great things. He was calling her to do little things, but with great love in her heart. To put up cheerfully with the cranky nun in the cell next to her, to clean up after somebody else's mess and not to complain. To be cheerful when one is actually sad, to take an insult and not to return in kind. Those are very simple things, but when we actually try to put them into practice, how difficult they are. But God strews the path of our life with all of these gracious little opportunities to exercise heroic charity in ways that often nobody else even notices. Don't waste those opportunities, and don't waste these moments that can be challenging and trying, but also can be like sandpaper to our soul. There's something that's hard and a little rough, but is actually cleaning out the rough edges of our life so that we become ever more greater, the saint that God has called us to be.